can't get into it.
Huge crowd. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Lake Bluff School District 65 Board of Education Committee of the Whole meeting for January 12th, 2016. Madam Secretary, could you please have a roll call?
Gladly. Barry.
Present.
Sherlow, present. Gottschall. Present. Hay.
Here.
Hood.
Here.
Marzen.
Present.
Ryder. Here.
We have a full house and a quorum, so we can begin. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise and join me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And now we open the floor up to anybody in the audience who'd like to address the board for public comment. Not seeing anybody jump into their feet. We're going to move on to item number 4, the addition of a discussion item. If anybody on the board would like to add an additional discussion item for a future agenda, please do so. One of the things that's come up that we're going to talk about probably at the next meeting is an update on North Chicago schools. So that will be an agenda item coming up. Anybody else? Rich, you look like you've got something you want to say.
I have nothing. Yeah, at this time.
All right. Okay, so moving on to discussion items. Item A is the 2016-2017 student fees. And I believe Mr. Khan is going to summarize that for us.
Administration is recommending that we hold the fees next year constant and the same as this year.
Well spoken.
Unless there's any questions, it's.
Do you want to just go on record on why we decided we're going to keep transportation free for next year?
Sure. The transportation, most of the other fees have been fairly consistent for many years, and we raised them nominally last year, and we don't see a need to raise them again this year. The transportation fee was eliminated a couple years ago, and every year we revisit that decision to see if we need to charge a transportation fee. The fund balance in the transportation fund is currently 1.8 times annual expenditure, so it's still on the high side, and we have the funds to support free transportation. And there are several benefits to that. Specifically, it gets rid of congestion at the schools and is safer for kids, and so we want to
helps us with our student tardiness.
Yes.
Questions, comments, concerns?
And we're sure that this is something we can work into our budget, our next budget. It won't be problematic.
It's currently included in our 5-year projections.
At these recommended rates.
Yes.
Great. That was easy. Next item B, the 2016-2017 building use fees. And I think again we go to Mr. Giacomo.
That's the same. We would consider holding them the same because we want to encourage community use of our buildings. We don't charge fees for local groups that serve the community. The only fees really that are charged are to for-profit organizations, and that's at $75 an hour. We don't typically have very many of them. What we do is pass along the cost of any additional personnel that we need for supervision and cleanup, and those rates are fairly consistent, so we don't need to increase those either.
Have we had any feedback from the community one way or the other on our fees?
No, I think people have been happy with them. Nobody's complained that they're
usage.
We don't get a lot of usage. There's a few groups that use it on an annual basis, and they continue to use it and continue to be able to absorb the costs.
I didn't understand one of the things on the memo where it says pass through of incremental costs, groups B, C, and D.
Oh, I see.
That's what he was just talking about.
Or the
Right.
custodian, okay.
Right, so if we have to, if it's
So,
during
I understand.
regular school hours, it doesn't cost anything, but if we have to incur additional cost of custodians, then we pass that along in the group.
But that only pertains to D, C, and D. Now I understand.
And this policy, or this pretty much comes straight out of board policy.
Questions,
So we're
comments,
consistent with
concerns?
policy.
Good.
Those two things. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Is it possible to go back to A for a second, or is that impossible?
Discussion
It's
on that?
discussion only, so.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. How long will we be able to continue to fund the free busing based on how much money we have now?
It's really dependent on what happens with state.
Rough order of
funding.
magnitude.
Given circumstances today, not property tax freezes and everything else.
Is it like 1 year, or is it like 8 years, or is it like,
Well, I'd say for the foreseeable future,
He'd say he wished he had that question ahead of time so he could prepare a better answer.
my only concern is, in 2 years, or all of a sudden, we're gonna have to say, oh, we gotta charge everybody a big number, and we're gonna say,
I'm
well,
currently.
this has always been free, and would it make sense to have some incremental cost now,
No?
so that you don't have that falling off a cliff kind of thing?
I don't see any imminent need to raise it suddenly in the next 1 to 2 years.
And it's in our 5-year plan, right? Not our 5-year budget.
Right.
So right now, definitely 5 years.
I'm currently,
Well,
we
that's what I need to
could
know.
continue
Thank
to levy and use state funding to maintain our, to pay for our transportation. I'm currently diverting some, the property taxes to the education fund, so I'm under levying in that fund in order to spend down the fund balance because it's too high. So absent that, this would continue.
Okay.
It's a board. It depends on what the fund balance looks like after the middle school project and what the state of the rest of our funding looks like. Because it's kind of all one big pot of money. If we're not going to spend on transportation, we'd be spending it on other educational needs, salaries, and building maintenance. And if there's not enough money for those things, then we might consider reconsider the transportation fund.
I think the benefits that we're realizing with having more people opt in to the bus transportation justifies keeping it the way it is for as long as we can.
We've really seen positive results from offering it the short time that we've done it.
It's a
So
matter of
both
priority. If you really want to keep it because you are experiencing positive benefits, then you can allocate your money accordingly. And I think there's enough flexibility to do that for at least the next 5 years.
Good.
Thank you.
So the student fees and the usage fees will be brought for approval at the January 26th meeting.
Okay. No problem. Next.
Resolution for withdrawal from NSOCD for Deerfield 109. I'm going to introduce this, and then if you have any questions, I know Kevin will be happy to answer those for you. But the bottom line is, based on Dr. Lubofield's letter, for a variety of reasons, they have opted to stay in until July 1st of 2017. Because all the districts now in the co-op have to vote on it, we will be bringing this to you for approval at the January 26th meeting. He has committed to his board and to NSSED that they will study together how they're offering special ed and how they're using the co-op.
Okay.
Questions, comments, concerns?
Things are looking up at the co-op. They will have a new superintendent very soon. I was part of that committee. Can't talk about who it is yet, but if it works out, it's a great candidate. So I would expect lots of reasons for districts like 109 to want to stay in. So I think it's a positive outlook at the co-op in general. Okay, all good on that? Anything you want to add, Dr. Wilson? Okay. We are going to now get into reviewing our board agreements. We had a meeting with our
Professional organization.
professional organization, thank you, a little while ago, and one of the outcomes was that we probably should review this because we haven't done it in a while, and we have a new board member, or a newer board member, who has probably never seen this before. We hadn't been over this probably in a year and a half, and it's something that makes a lot of sense to review periodically so that we're all on the same page, the way we work with each other and with the district. And I don't know how you guys want to proceed. Should I read through them and we comment as we go along, or do you want to just go right to comments that people might have?
Maybe just if you paraphrase each section and just highlight.
Sure. The first section is what the board expects, and it's simple behavioral kind of procedural things that to make our meetings run smoothly. Regular communication from the superintendent. The superintendent will notify us by email for a variety of reasons, such as school emergencies, bus accidents, student emergencies, staff emergencies. We will receive our board packets the Thursday prior to every meeting to give us enough time to prepare earlier if possible. We will in those board packets we'll receive monthly expenditure reports. All the board members will receive the same information. So if one board member requests something at a meeting and we all agree that it's worth the administration's time to pursue that, we'll all get that same answer. Board members and staff will treat each other with respect. Superintendent and staff will treat all board members with respect. And reasonable requests for additional information will be satisfied in a timely manner. When practical, board members will minimize surprises at board meetings by presenting questions for clarification or additional information on agenda items to the superintendent in advance. That's one that is very helpful to administration to help them really come to our meetings as prepared as possible. Any questions or comments on the board expectations? Superintendent expects that requests for additions to agendas will be received at least 7 days before the meeting. We also do that in every meeting where we ask for additional discussion items, but if somebody wants to add an addition to an agenda, they need to get it to myself or to Jean as soon as possible. That direction is given at board meetings when a majority of the board votes to give direction. So in other words, no single board member can direct the staff. Board members will be respectful toward the staff and be respectful of staff's time. Board members will read all supporting documentation before the board meeting so we come prepared. Board members will email the super with questions about the agenda or materials by noon the day before the meeting to give her time to produce a well thought out response and well-researched response. The board as a whole will agree and vote to put an item on an agenda before significant staff time is spent against the particular item. And when practical, the board members will minimize surprises at board meetings by getting questions to the staff at least by noon the day before. Questions on superintendent expectations. Any questions from the superintendent?
No, but I do need to go back to the very first one, just to be precise, because sometimes I send my board updates on Sundays. It just depends on what my schedule's like. So I just wanted to clarify that piece and make sure that was okay with everybody.
Most certainly.
Very good.
Sorry.
Agenda agreements. Any board member may request that items be placed on the agenda by emailing the super and copying the board president, as I said earlier. A lot of these are overlapping, or raising them during a meeting when we ask for additional discussion items. Board president will meet with the superintendent to review and approve the draft agenda. Jean always sends me the ideas that we have a calendar that we follow that's got lots of things that we cover every month, and then any new and pressing issues, we either by phone or in person talk about what's coming up and talk about the issues that surround that, and we decide what's on and off and what we need to be presenting to you guys to make progress in all those items. A consent agenda will be used for items not requiring discussion. Any board member can ask to have items pulled from the consent agenda. We'll address those after. Agenda agreements. Concerns? Questions? Meeting preparation agreements. A lot of redundancy here. Board members will come to the meetings prepared to discuss items on the agenda. Board members will notify the super about positive and negative comments received from the community about the district or specific agenda items. That's a really helpful one for Jean. We're her eyes and ears. If we hear things, to let her know. Board members will give the super time to research clarifying questions about agenda items and not spring surprises at the board meetings. This has come up 3 times now, I think. So hopefully we're getting the message. Questions about meeting preparation agreements. During meeting agreements. Meeting agendas shall be made available to the public pursuant to the requirements of OMA and will be available to the meeting site on the district website, the district office, and through the media that has requested the agendas. The public will have opportunities to participate in our meetings. We do that at the beginning and the end. The board administration generally will not respond immediately to the public comment at meetings. Generally, we don't have hard and fast rules on that, but I could see the time when we have a meeting, if we ever have the pitchforks and the torches coming with 100 people, we may want to impose some more rules on how we handle those meetings. But when it's nobody or a few people, we're not going to be too strict about what we allow people to say and how they get involved. And I will ensure that one person speaks at a time and everybody has a chance to participate. Questions about that? Concerns? Some other districts are much more formal in the way they. Oh, there's a lot more of them. I gotta keep going. Some other districts are a lot more formal about how they run their meetings, but we haven't really had a need to do that yet. Board members will listen respectfully to each other, of course, and to the administration. Board discussion will stay focused and avoid personal attacks. Board members will endeavor to adhere to the agenda and focus on board work, not administrative staff work, so we'll stay out of the weeds. Each meeting participant, including the super and every board member, is responsible for monitoring compliance with the law, such as the Open Meetings Act. Board members will try and refrain from taking a final position on an issue until all information is presented and reasonable discussion has been undertaken. Board members will express their viewpoints constructively and succinctly with the objective of weighing all considerations while also holding an efficient meeting. I think we've got pretty good at efficient meetings. Board members will recognize they are role models to the community and conduct themselves professionally. After board meetings, board members and staff will support the decision of the board, try not to undermine, and so hopefully the board gets to speak with one voice in the community. Board members and staff will abide by confidentiality laws of closed sessions, and we will ensure that all documents, records, reports are processed and maintained in accordance with applicable laws, regulations, and policies. Questions?
I just want to share after board meetings are over, Terry and I sit down and we go through all the agenda items and make sure that everything's posted, make sure that everything gets where it needs to go. She mails out any contracts, so we kind of have a routine going. I couldn't do it without her.
Site visit agreements. Board members are encouraged to attend school events as a spectator, as their time permits, not as a board member. Board members wishing to visit a school as a board member, however, should check with the superintendent about the best time for a visit, check in with the principal upon arrival, follow campus guidelines for visitors, respect staff time and allow staff to perform their duties. I think E is probably the most important, not evaluate staff, not give direction to staff or students, and to not accept gifts or favors from any district employee. When visiting with teachers of their own children, board members will make it clear that they are acting as parents rather than board members. That's true anytime you bring an issue to Jean or her staff. Anytime you come as a parent, you got to be really careful to put on your parent hat, and where there's a line, there's often a gray line between when you're wearing your parent hat and your board member hat. I've been in that situation a few times. If a board member observes an issue on campus that needs administrative follow-up, the concerns will be communicated to the superintendent. Questions? Concerns? Okay, we're almost done. Board community communication. Board members will serve as ambassadors for the district, emphasizing the positive aspects of the district. Community meetings should be organized by staff and properly noticed so that all board members can attend. The super will serve as a spokesperson for the district with the media. The board president will serve as a spokesperson for the board with the media. Complaints received from staff or the community will be directed through the appropriate chain of command or to the superintendent. The board is the last stop in the complaint process. Board members have no authority to solve problems. Board members can ensure that complaints are addressed, and board members will call the superintendent with a heads up if appropriate. Questions or concerns? This last item here, emergency information, this is not completed. I think we do need to have that. I would like to know about emergency contact information in case, God forbid, something happened to you or anybody in your staff. Or
When I win the lotto and you can't reach me.
yeah, whatever that is.
I'll give you all of their numbers. Oh, I'm sorry, we're all in it together, so we'll give you some other numbers.
But that too, but also like chain of command. You know, if you're undisposed, you're not available. Big picture, is this cover everything we need to cover for board agreements? Phil, is there anything that jumps out at you being the new guy that concerns you, or you think we need to talk about?
I think it's great.
It's all pretty common sense. And now that we're veteran board members, it's a no-brainer. Okay, so board agreement's done. Superintendent evaluation cycle. Here's a handout.
Which we need to review just to make sure the dates all work out.
Gene and I talked a little bit, during the break about how to get this done. Seems like we just did it yesterday, but not quite.
It feels like it just did yesterday.
But we do it every year, per contract, per policy.
You want me to walk through?
Yeah.
Mark and I agreed, and if we need to tweak it by a day or two, this is a good place to do it. By midnight on Friday, January 29th, I will get you artifacts and kind of a report out on my goals.
Artifacts for new guys. Jean last year presented us a huge supply of things that just demonstrate how she met all of her goals, just to support all that stuff.
The evaluation survey monkey link will be sent to Mark to send to the board members the weekend of January 30th and 31st. Terry, you and I will have to work with Lori again to get that going, because Lori actually winds up sending it to Mark then.
So we do our evaluation online, and then I aggregate it.
Board members then, once you get it from Mark, complete the evaluation via SurveyMonkey by midnight on Monday, February 8th. Mark then will compile the answers and prepare for board review Tuesday, February 9th through Tuesday, February 16th. The evening of February 16th in our committee of the whole meeting, you would meet in closed session from 6 to 7 to review it. And then last year, Mark and John met with me after it was all over.
And this meets all the requirements of your contract as well as board policy?
Make sure, do the dates work for everybody? We're not interfering with any.
Well, those are already
Big
scheduled.
trips or anything.
Those are already scheduled dates, right? Those are all the board meeting dates that we have on our agenda.
Pardon me?
We can monkey around anything.
Yeah.
All good? All right. Date for an upcoming policy meeting again?
I've got those. Hold on. Susan, Leanne, and Julie. I'm checking on February 8th or February 22nd, Monday meeting at our usual place.
February 8th works for me.
Okay. I couldn't remember date. So
They're both fine.
February 8th, does that work?
I think so, but let me get there. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
Monday, February 8th, Terry, you and I have to prepare that and then get those out. So look for a packet, probably in a week. Get it out so you have a couple weeks to look at it.
And what's the time for that?
It'll be 6 o'clock
Okay.
at Innovasi. And I've got to look to see which policies we're going over. You had a couple, Jay, so you may need to come to that. Kevin, depending on what's in the packet, you may need to come to that also. Thank you very much.
Good. And then the final item G is programming changes for 2016 and 2017, and we're not ready to discuss that yet. We need to table that item.
However, I do want to review. Can I just add a couple things?
Oh, okay. I thought you really wanted to do it
No.
cleanly.
We're going to table this until the next meeting, but I have some dates just to make sure that people have calendars, and I have a brand new date I just got this afternoon. January 19th, which is next Tuesday, we have our first bid opening approval, or bid approval for bid number 1. It will be at 6:10 down in the conference room downstairs, and that's the entire reason for the meeting, I can't imagine it lasting more than 10 minutes. So I just wanted to make sure you all had that on your schedule. I will email these to you also.
What time is that again? Sorry.
6:10.
6:10.
It's at 6:10.
6:10.
Coming to train.
Get it.
We might even be able to be done by 6:15
Okay.
if we run this efficiently. But I'll get you the materials. I've got to talk to Tom Corona. We'll get that to you so we can get that moving. Tuesday, January 26th, we have a regular board meeting. We will need a closed session on that date, so plan on 6 o'clock. 7 o'clock, the regular meeting starts.
What date is that again?
It's also Tuesday,
Six.
January 26th.
Okay.
Looking ahead, and I will put these in my update this week, February 16th is our February Committee of the Whole. We had changed that earlier because I have a conference the week before. And that's the closed session where you'll be reviewing my evaluation. February 23rd is our regular meeting. And then March 1st is another bid approval. It's our bid opening number 2 approvals.
So 6:10.
I just got another date.
6:10.
6:10. You are correct, 6:10. I just got a date this afternoon. We were able to successfully schedule our next tri-district meeting. And that's with Lake Forest 67, 115, and 65.
I've had one of those in a long time.
It is scheduled for March 10th. I'm assuming it will probably be at 7. There'll be more information. One of the things Mike and I thought would be very valuable is to have Ben Martindale with that so that he could present on North Chicago so you all 3 districts get the same information. So I know that will be one agenda
You said
item.
March 10th?
March 10th. It's a Thursday. So
We'll fill
it's
you
the only we're kind of set on their schedule, and apparently their 2 boards were already meeting that night. So, and that's all I had to share, Mr. Berry.
Anybody else have anything you want to add? Anybody in the public would like to comment? Not hearing anything else, I'd like to have a motion to adjourn at 7:30. Move.
Second. Actually, it's 7:29.
7:30. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?